guys, Lehman Griffin here. Welcome to today's video. We're going to be installing a cold air intake system from, this is coldairinductions.com's unit. It's the Elite Series, part number 5120105, and as you can see, it's for 2019-2020 Silverado 1500. And my truck's got the 5.3 liter, which is what this system is for, but they also make a system for 6.2 as well as many other cars and trucks. So let's dive in. I'll show you guys what we're going to need to get this installed. So there's only a few tools needed. You're going to need a 2.5mm Allen wrench, a T20 Torx, a nut driver, ratchet, extension, a 10mm and an 8mm, and then I've got a couple different extensions and adapters. So we'll give you a quick overview of what's included. You got your intake tube that comes with the system, and this is your MAF port. You got a new PCV valve hose that's going to attach to your elbow and then go to your PCV vent. And then you got the elbow itself. This will attach to the throttle body and then to the intake tube, and this is where you're going to hook your PCV valve. You've got your cold air box with a plexiglass cover on it, and this is where your tube's going to come out, and this is actually going to attach to your factory mount location. And then you got your air filter element, and this is an oiled lifetime element. And then of course our instructions, which plenty of pictures and real easy to follow. So let's get started. All right, so first thing we're going to do is remove the existing air intake from the truck, and that's going to entail the MAF sensor, the airbox, the filter, the tube, and then your bellow / elbow that attaches to the throttle body. So the first thing we need to do is disconnect the negative battery terminal, and we're going to use the ratchet and the 10mm socket for this. Once we get that loose, we can just pull this off. It's a little tight. You're going to have to wiggle it a little bit. There we go. You always want to disconnect the battery when you're working with electronics in a vehicle. Next thing we want to do is remove the PCV hose from the valve cover, and it just pulls right off. There you go. One tool you're going to need that I forgot to mention is a 5/16 nut driver, and we're going to take that 5/16 and we're going to loosen the clamps on both our intake tube and our throttle body. It's kind of hard to see this one, but if you get to the driver's side, you can see it. So now we're going to remove this wire tie right here that's holding this loom to this bracket, and it helps if you take a pair of needle nose and come in from the back side and squeeze the tab and push. And now we're going to take our 10mm and we're going to remove this bolt right here, which will pull this bracket off that holds the bellow to the alternator. Now we're going to remove the assembly from the vehicle. We should pull out away from the throttle body and a little bit up, and we're going to come off of this tube here. There we go. Let's see, what am I hanging up on here? Oh, looks like there's one more wire tie down here. We'll get this one off real quick. Now we can remove this from the vehicle. Next, we're going to disconnect the wiring harness from the mass airflow sensor. There's a little red locking tab you pull backwards, and then you can push this down and slide it right off. There we go. Next, we're going to use our 8mm and extension to remove the 3 screws holding the airbox onto the truck. And we'll pull the air filter out too. 16,000 miles on the truck. Filter doesn't look too bad. Now we're going to take our T20 Torx and we're going to remove the MAF sensor from the intake housing. Now be careful with this sensor. You don't want to touch the element. It can make your truck run pretty rough. Just be real careful with it. Now onto the new system. We're going to remove the 2 bolts from the MAF adapter with our 2.5mm Allen wrench. Now we're going to put our MAF sensor into our new intake tube, and you want to make sure that the MAF sensor is facing towards the engine, but Cold Air Inductions has done the work for you And if you look, see how the bolt holes line up there? If you put it in the wrong way, the bolt holes won't line up. So there's only one way you can do it. And we'll go ahead and put our bolts back in here and tighten it up. Now we're going to take our elbow and we're going to install it on the throttle body. And we don't want to tighten anything yet, we just want to get it in place. Probably need to loosen it a little bit actually. There we go. Now we're going to take our new PCV tube that they've supplied us with and reinstall it. And you can see it says this side to inlet duct. So we're going to put the other side on our valve cover. It just snaps down. And we're going to take this side and we're going to put it on the inlet duct. There you go. So now we're going to take our new housing, and the first thing we're going to do is peel the protective coating off of it, because once we put the filter in it, you're not going to be able to access it. We're going to take our filter element, remove the clamp from it, and then we're going to slide our filter element into the box. There we go. And now we're going to put our clamp back on it. Now we're going to take our new tube and we're going to slide it onto the filter and make sure it seats all the way. And it's easier to do this on the table before we put it in the truck. Kind of work it back and forth and you'll feel it. There's a lip inside of here that it can't go any further. Alright, you don't want to tighten any clamps yet. We want to get the whole system done. Sits really nice on top of the airbox. We're going to take our MAF tube, we're going to have to rotate it a little bit. There we go. I think that's about right. So now we're going to pull the 3 screws off of the old intake housing and reuse them to attach the new intake housing to the base plate. Now we're going to check to make sure all of our clamps are lined up correctly, and then we can tighten our clamps with our 5/16 nut driver. We're going to take our MAF plug and we're going to route it under our AC hose. And then plug it into the mass airflow sensor. And it looks like we're going to have to remove maybe one more zip tie. And that should give us the slack we need to be able to plug this in. Now we'll take our locking tab and push it back. We should be good to go. And now we're going to reconnect our negative terminal back to the battery and tighten it back down with our 10mm socket. Now the last thing to do is just start the truck, see how it goes. You can see here we've got no warning lights, no issues. See how it sounds. So there you have it, guys. Really simple install. It probably took 15 to 20 minutes, and that's with me forgetting a couple tools and taking my time and shooting the video, of course. So if you want to get one of these intake systems for yourself, head on over to coldairinductions.com. It's a really good looking kit. It kind of fits like factory. Everything went together as it was supposed to. I didn't have any issues. The only thing that I saw that I had to do that wasn't in the instructions was removing one additional zip tie, and that was just to give my wire a little more room to get up to the plug. So really quick, really nice product. Now all we got to do is take it for a drive, and we'll see you guys in a new video for that.